Hello, viewers. Here is Questionable Studio, and it's your boy Questionable. I am back again, as I always do. I'll be bringing you football results and also stories from the various leagues and also stories circulating from the various football clubs. We will start by going to Europe. Yesterday, there were some couple of matches that took place in the Europa League and the UEFA Conference League. So we'll start from the Europa League. Yesterday, two matches took place in the Europa League, and Manchester United faced Athletic Bilbao. At the end of the 90 minutes, Manchester United won by 3 goals to 0 through the goals of Casemiro and also a brace from Bruno Fernandes. Also, Tottenham Hotspur also took Bordeaux Glimt. At the end of the 90 minutes, Tottenham Hotspur won by 3 goals to 1 through the goals of Brendan Johnson, James Maddison, and Dominic Solanke. Also, let's move on to the UEFA Conference League. Yesterday, two matches took place in the UEFA Conference League. One match was between Real Betis and Fiorentina. At the end of the 90 minutes, Real Betis won by 2 goals to 1 through the goals of Isao Zoli and Anthony. And also, Chelsea also faced Jagadin, and at the end of the 90 minutes, Chelsea also won by 4 goals to 1 through the goals of Jordan Sancho, Madueke, and also Nicolas Jackson also got a brace for Chelsea Football Club. So these are the first leg results that took place in the UEFA Conference League and also the Europa League. Yesterday too, there was one match which took place in the Premier League between Nottingham Forest and also Brentford Football Club. At the end of the 90 minutes, Brentford won by 2 goals to 0 through the goals of Kevin Shade and also Joan Wissa. So Brentford won the match by 2 goals to 0. So let's look at the Premier League table and see how the various teams are also fighting for the Champions League and also the Europa League and the Europa Conference League spot. So looking from the Premier League table, Liverpool leads the table, or as we already know, with 82 points with 34 matches played. Arsenal second with 67 points. Newcastle third with 62 points. Manchester City fourth with 61 points. Chelsea fifth with 60 points. Nottingham sixth with 60 points. And Aston Villa seventh with 57 points. So now, looking at the Premier League table, it's heating up the race for the Champions League spot. Who would qualify for the UEFA Champions League next season? Who would qualify for the Europa League and the UEFA Conference League? There is one match also coming on, which is between Manchester City and Wolverhampton Wanderers. This match will take place at the Etihad Sports Stadium today at exactly 7 p.m. There will be one match coming on in the Premier League between Man City and Wolverhampton Wanderers. You'll see how that result will also go there. Also, there is one match also coming on in Spain between Rayo Vallecano and also Getafe. You'll see how that match will also go. There's also one match coming on in the Italian Serie A between Torino and also Venezia. You will see how the results will go from there. We will bring you the results from all these matches and update you guys. Also, there is one match from the Bundesliga between Heidenheim and also Bochum. This is one match also coming up in the Bundesliga. So we will bring you the updates, the results from all these matches. When they finish playing the match, we will bring you all the updates. So stay tuned and watch this channel. So let's move on to some of the stories circulating in the various leagues. So from the camp of Chelsea, Chelsea says that their darling boy, Enzo Fernandez, they are not selling him this summer. We know Real Madrid is pushing to sign Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea on a long-term deal to join Real Madrid in order to boost their midfield. Chelsea say we should tell any team who is pushing for a deal to sign their darling boy Enzo Fernandez that they are not ready to sell Enzo Fernandez for any team. So this is what Chelsea is saying to any other club pushing to sign their midfielder Enzo Fernandez. Also, the representatives of Christopher Nkunku also said that at the end of the season, they want a team for their player. So they have opened talks to teams like Arsenal, Aston Villa, and Tottenham, that any of these three teams, if they are ready to push for a deal for their client, Christopher Nkunku, they are ready to negotiate and also push for a deal for their player to join any of these clubs. Let's move on to Manchester United. Manchester United has also shown interest in Bayer Leverkusen defender Jonathan Tah. We all know that by the end of the season, Jonathan Tah's contract will be expired at Bayer Leverkusen. He will be a free agent. So Manchester United is pushing for a deal to sign Jonathan Tah from Bayer Leverkusen, who will be a free agent at the end of this season. Also, let's move on to Arsenal. Arsenal is also battling with PSG for the Roma defender Ivan Indika, who is rated around 25 to 34 million pounds. So Arsenal has an interest to sign Roma defender Ivan Indika. They want to boost their defensive options. So they are ready to push for a deal to sign AS Roma defender, and they'll be battling with the likes of PSG, who is also interested to sign this defender from AS Roma. Let's move on to Manchester City. Manchester City legend, Manchester City best player, Kevin De Bruyne. At the end of the season, we all know that Kevin De Bruyne will be leaving Manchester City at the end of the season. Teams like Inter Miami and also Chicago Fire has also shown interest to sign Kevin De Bruyne to join their team. Also, there are teams like Aston Villa, who is also monitoring the situation of Kevin De Bruyne. They want to sign him as a free agent to join their team at the end of the summer. So this is the news coming from the camp of Manchester City and Kevin De Bruyne. Also, let's move on to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich winger Leroy Aziz Sane, the German international. Now, Galatasaray FC is also monitoring the situation of Leroy Aziz Sane, that at the end of the season, Leroy Sane will be a free agent. So they'll be pushing for a deal to sign Leroy Aziz Sane from Bayern Munich to join Galatasaray. Let's move on to Newcastle too. Newcastle has also shown interest in signing Brentford best player Bryan Mbeumo, who is valued around 60 million pounds. They are pushing for a deal to sign Brentford best player Bryan Mbeumo. But looking at the price tag which is on Bryan Mbeumo, they find it difficult to negotiate with Brentford to sign their player Bryan Mbeumo. So we monitor the situation and see how things will go from there, from the story coming on from the camp of Brentford and also Bryan Mbeumo. Atletico Madrid has also shown interest in Sporting CP top goal scorer Victor Gyökeres. They are pushing to sign. We don't all know that there are many teams who are monitoring the situation of Victor Gyökeres. Teams like Manchester United also want to sign Victor Gyökeres. But Atletico Madrid this morning, I've heard from their camp that they have also shown a very strong interest to sign Sporting CP goal scorer Victor Gyökeres, and they are ready to put a money of 110 million euros to sign Victor Gyökeres from Sporting CP. They have shown a very strong interest and they are ready to put a money of 110 million euros. This shows how they are ready to sign a top striker like Victor Gyökeres from Sporting CP. Brazil is also pushing for a final deal to see if they can get Carlo Ancelotti from Real Madrid. Now, Brazil is in crisis. They want a top coach who will take over their team and also take their team to the FIFA World Cup 2026. So they are trying to push for a final deal to see how things will go. If they will be able to get Carlo Ancelotti from Real Madrid and take over at the Brazil national team. So let's move on to Liverpool and see the news coming from Liverpool. Liverpool are planning to sell Diogo Jota this summer around 50 million pounds, and they'll be pushing for a deal to sign Bayern Munich winger Kingsley Coman around 34 million pounds. So this is the story coming from Liverpool. They are planning to sell Diogo Jota around 50 million pounds, and they'll be pushing for a deal to sign Bayern Munich winger Kingsley Coman around 34 million pounds. Also, Barcelona has released their Spotify takeover shirts. They have released just this morning from the camp of FC Barcelona. They have released their Spotify takeover shirt, which they'll be wearing this shirt on the 11th of May to play the El Clasico against Real Madrid. This is a very nice shirt. Let's move on to UEFA Champions League. From the UEFA Champions League, we all know that next week, God willing, the return leg, the second leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-final between Inter Milan and FC Barcelona will be coming on. And the referee who will be taking over this match is Simon Marciniak. Simon Marciniak will be the central referee to handle the match between Inter Milan and FC Barcelona. Let's look at some of the FC Barcelona matches which Simon Marciniak was appointed as a central referee. He has refereed FC Barcelona matches twice. That was between PSG and Barcelona in 2017 round of 16 UEFA Champions League. This match ended as 4-0 against FC Barcelona. This was the match that FC Barcelona did a comeback in the return leg. So Simon Marciniak has managed FC Barcelona 2 matches. The first match was between PSG and FC Barcelona, which FC Barcelona lost to PSG by 4-0. Also, the second match was between Juventus and FC Barcelona. Barcelona also lost this match 3-0 in the quarterfinals 2017. So he has refereed twice of FC Barcelona matches, and FC Barcelona has never recorded any win in which Simon Massignac was appointed as the central referee. I know this will be a very negative news to FC Barcelona fans. We will see how the match will go when Simon Massignac also stays as the central referee for this match. From the camp of FC Barcelona, they will be facing Real Valladolid this weekend, and they have an upcoming Champions League game with Inter Milan. So from the camp of FC Barcelona, they are ready to rest a lot of the first team players. So the likes of Rafinha, the likes of Pedri will not be starting the match for FC Barcelona. So players who are likely to come into the first team are the likes of Ter Stegen will be in the goalpost, where Szczesny will be resting on the bench. Also, players like Ansu Fati, Hector Fort Christensen, Gavi, and also Gerard Martino will be in the starting lineup. Also, from the camp of FC Barcelona, Jules Koundé will be out for 3 weeks. Their recent game against Inter Milan, he picked an injury and was substituted. From the camp of FC Barcelona, after monitoring his situation, Jules Koundé will be out for 3 weeks, and he would be missing the matches ahead of us. He would return if FC Barcelona is able to qualify to the UEFA Champions League final. Also, from Hansi Flick, he spoke and he told us that Alejandro Balde will be ready for the second leg against Inter Milan next week, God willing. And also, Lewandowski too will play a part in the match. Though he won't be starting the match, he will start from the bench in next week's clash against Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League semi-final. So these are some of the stories circulating from the various leagues, and these are the updates coming from the various leagues. Thank you, viewers. Don't forget to like, watch, and also subscribe to my channel. I'll be bringing you more football story, transfer news, and updates circulating in the various leagues. So I will see you next time. Bye bye.